The next is the name of Allah, Al-Bari. Al-Bari, a beautiful name. Bari also means creator. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this name in the Quran where He says, Huwa Allahul Khaliqul Bari, that He is Allah, the creator, the inventor. So, Al-Bari generally translated as the inventor. And the name of Allah, Al-Bari, appears 3 times in the Quran. And what does it mean? It means the one who brings creation into existence. And there's a beautiful place in which this name is mentioned. Inshallah, we'll talk about that. Let's look at the name Bari. The word Bari is from Bara'a. Okay? And Bara'a basically means when something becomes clear or free of another thing. So for example, it is said, Bari'a min al-marad, that so-and-so was now free or became clear of a certain disease, meaning he no longer has that disease. Okay? Bara'atum min Allahi wa rasuli, a declaration of dissociation from Allah and His Messenger. Okay? So this is the primary significance of the root, that when something takhallasa, meaning when something becomes clear or free of another. Alright? And why is that so? Because either it became separated from it, or because now it has a new existence. Okay? So, who is Bari? Bari is the one who brings the creation into existence. Okay? Meaning, Al-Mujid, the one who brings the creation into existence. Meaning they did not exist before, and now they exist. It is said that Bari is the one who creates things without a previous example, without a previous model. Meaning there's nothing like it that existed before. He is the one who created it the first time. And then, if you think about it, Bari, Khaliq, the meaning is quite similar. So some suggest that the word bar is actually used for the creation of animate or living things. Okay? So basically, Khaliq is more general than the name Bari. Bari specifically describes the one who creates living or animate things. And then the name Bari also means the one who has distinguished each creature from another. Because remember the basic meaning of the word bari'ah? When something becomes free of another. So Bari is the one who has made each creature distinct. Okay? Distinct, meaning it has its own existence, it has its own, life, it has its own unique qualities, its own DNA. So this is the meaning of the name Bari. Then it is also said that Bari means the one who created man from mud. Because Bari, which is also from the same root, means turab. It means dirt. So Bari is the one who created the human beings from turab or from mud. And then it is also said that Bari means the one who has created the creation free of any faultiness or incongruity, meaning there is harmony within the creation, and every creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created is perfect in its own unique way. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Bari, what does that mean for us? It means that, first of all, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has created us, and especially the fact that He brought us into existence, we did not exist before, He gave us a unique form. And then He created us from mud, especially human beings, He created from mud. Then what does it mean? We should recognize the fact that He is our creator, and we should be humble before Him, right? Even when we have done something wrong. And this is so beautiful. You see the ayah that is mentioned over here in Surah Al-Baqarah, where we learn that when the Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them, He saved them from the tyranny, the oppression of Fir'aun, and then He made them cross the sea. And what happened after that? Musa alayhi salam went for the appointment where he was to be given the book. And the Bani Israel, what did they do? They made a calf out of gold and they began worshipping it. They said that this is our God. Astaghfirullah. So when Musa alayhi salam returned, he said to them that, Ya qawmi innakum zalamtum anfusakum bittikhadikum al-ijla. That, O my people, indeed you have wronged yourselves by taking the calf for worship. So what should you do? فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ. So repent to your Creator. Meaning, Allah is the one who created you. This calf did not create you. In fact, you made the calf, right? And Allah is the one who made you. So what should you do? You should turn back to your Creator. Why? Because when He is our Creator and our return is to Him, this means that there is no escape from Him. The only place of safety, the only place of success is with who? With our Creator, with our Maker. So this means that even when we have done something seriously wrong, then let us turn back to our Creator. And there should be no shame in this, meaning our pride, our ego should not prevent us from turning back to Allah. You see, when you have a healthy relationship with your parents, then what does that mean? You feel safe with them, right? And that means that even when you have done something seriously wrong, you go and you tell them, right? And you cry before them, and you know that you have to talk to them. You know that you need their help to, first of all, help you feel better and then help you come out of your problem, to assist you. But there are some people who don't have that healthy relationship with their parents. So what happens? They go and hide from their parents. They don't tell their parents. They lie to their parents. So they don't get the help that they need. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. This is not comparing parents with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above any example or similitude. What is meant is that when Allah is the one who has created us, what should that tell us about Allah? That He loves us, right? And then when He created us, we belong to Him. And then when we belong to Him, it means that we can only be safe with Him. So even when we have committed the most serious offense, the worst of all mistakes, it means that we should turn back to Allah. We should ask Him for help. So look at what Musa alayhi salam said to his people, فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ. Don't be embarrassed. Don't hesitate. Don't be arrogant over here. He is the one who made you, so turn back to Him. And then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Bari, is our Creator, is the one who has given us our unique form, who has distinguished us from the rest of the creation, then this means that we should also distinguish ourselves, separate ourselves from what He does not approve of, from the things that He, the Exalted, does not like for us. And what are those things? Sins and, other behaviors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like. And that means that we should constantly be purifying ourselves, right? We should constantly be trying to improve ourselves, recognizing our deficiencies, our sins, our mistakes, and admitting them before Allah, and then seeking His help and asking Him to purify us. This is tazkiyah. So Allah is the one who created us, and He is the one who purifies us. So whenever we do anything, even if it's the worst of all mistakes, let us turn back to Allah the Exalted. And then the next name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're going to look at is the name of Allah Al Musawwir, a beautiful name. Who is Al Musawwir? This name of Allah occurs in the Quran. Huwallahu al-Khaliqu al-Bari Al Musawwir. That He is Allah the Creator, the Inventor, the Fashioner. Now, the name of Allah Al Musawwir occurs once in the Quran, and Al Musawwir is the one who gives unique form to His creatures. Basically, if you look at the word sawwara, what does it mean? Sawwara, tasweer, is to give a surah. Okay? Meaning to give a certain form, shape, appearance, unique features. Basically, the word surah is also used for, sculpting something, painting something. So, Musawwir is the one who gives each creature its unique form and appearance, its unique characteristics. Okay? You can say that the, sawwara is the third stage of making something. Okay? How? The first stage of making something is to make a plan. All right? Think about how a building is made. The first thing is that you make a plan, meaning you have the whole design, you have the whole layout on paper, right? The second stage of making something is to make the structure. And then the final stage of making something is to give the finishing touches, meaning to give it its final face and appearance. So for example, when the building is made, when the walls, the roof, the ceiling, the floors, the windows, everything is in its place, then what's the final stage? The final stage is, okay, let's select the paint color. What's gonna go on the floor? Is it gonna be a carpet? Is it gonna be wood? Is it gonna be tile? What is it going to be? And then what color, what texture, what design, lighting, etc. So this is the stage of surah, to give the final form, okay? Meaning what is visible. And this, of course, includes decorating something and beautifying something. And this is what makes something unique from another. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Musawwir, it means that He is the one who has given everything its unique surah, its unique appearance, its unique form, by which it is distinguished from others. And when you think about the surah of each creation, there's basically two things over here, right? There is the tangible, the hissi, the very obvious form of each creature, which can be perceived by anybody. So for example, you see a creature, it has 4 legs, it is small, it's a little bit furry, it's got 2 big ears, and it's got a tail, and it's got small sharp teeth, and it meows. So when you look at it, you're like, yeah, it's a cat, right? Anybody, child, adult, yes, there will be some children who might call a cat a dog or vice versa. But in general, you see such a creature, you know that it is a cat, right? But then there is a surah that is intangible, meaning that is only perceived by those who really know it. So for example, when you look at a cat, yes, it's a cat, but then you know that it is your cat. How do you know that it is your cat? Because when it meows, you recognize the voice, right? The certain style, the certain way in which the cat is making that sound. When you look at the fur, you can recognize that, yes, this is the appearance of my cat, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given each creature its own tangible and intangible form. When you, for example, hear a certain voice, you know that this is the voice of my mother. You know that this is the voice of my father, right? When you see certain writing, you can tell, oh, this is the writing of this particular person. Why? Because you can just tell by the style, by the use of vocabulary, by the punctuation. You can just tell, right? So each person, in fact, each creature has their own unique surah, right? By which it is clearly distinguished from others, and its unique surah, which makes it, beautiful in its own unique way. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al Musawwir, it means that He is the fashioner of all existing things. Meaning that He has formed things however that He wants. And we have no say in that. For example, a person looks at, their face in the mirror and they're like, oh, I wish my nose was slightly bigger. I wish my nose was slightly smaller, right? I wish my lips were slightly more plump, or my face had this unique cut to it on the side, etc. We don't get to choose our unique form and face and appearance. Who decides that? It is the Khaliq, the Creator, who gives the surah. Right? So He is the fashioner of all existing things, and He has formed things however that He wanted. And this is what Imam Al-Tabari says, that Al-Musawwir is the one who has created the creation however that He wanted. And we see this in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Infitar, that الَّذِي خَلَقَكَ فَسَوَّاكَ فَعَدَلَكَ, that He is the one who created you, proportioned you, and basically made you symmetrical. And fi ayyi suratin ma sha'a rakkabak. And He put you together, meaning He put your form together in whatever surah, in whatever form that He wanted. Meaning He is the one who decided what your height should be, what your weight should be, what your color should be, what your unique facial features should be. This is not up to you or me or any human being. This is all up to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who gives every person their unique surah. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al Musawwir, it means that He has given to each creature a special form or a particular manner of being whereby it is distinguished. And this is so mind-blowing because no creature resembles another. In the sense that even if you look at two twins, yes, physically they may look identical. And yes, that is the case with identical twins. I mean, they look so similar that it's very hard for people who are not family or friends to tell them apart, right? But still, each person is different. Just because you have a twin, it doesn't mean that now you don't have your unique person. You have your unique personality. And we see that even when it comes to twins, subhanAllah, each has their own preference. Their voice may be slightly different. Their manner of writing may be very different. SubhanAllah, there are people who are able to complete each other's sentences. But it doesn't mean that now their being is one. No, they still have their own unique, identity. Each has their own unique preferences. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has given everyone their surah. In Surah Al-Taghabun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَصَوَّرَكُمْ فَأَحْسَنَ صُوَرَكُمْ. That He is the one who has given you your forms and He has made every form beautiful. Ahsana, meaning He has made it beautiful, excellent, and perfect. And in Surah Al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that بَلَا قَادِرِينَ عَلَىٰ أَن نُسَوِّيَ بَنَانَا, that we are even able to put together the fingertips of the human being. And if you think about it, every fingerprint is unique, right? So who has given, unique features, unique characteristics to every single creature? SubhanAllah, the children of the same parents, perhaps born at the same time. Amazing. But each person is different. Each being is different. So what does this mean for us? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Musawwir, and also considering the previous names that we have studied so far, He is Al-Khaliq, Al-Khallaq, He is Al-Bari Al Musawwir, then what should we do? It means that we should first and foremost believe in His oneness. This should strengthen us in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His tawheed. Just imagine His power and His ability and His knowledge and His resources and His perfection. That not only is there such variation within the creation, there is beauty and each creature is equipped with what it needs. Subhanallah. This should strengthen us in our belief in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This should increase us in our humility before Him. This should make us admire His perfection, not criticize His creation. The fact that He has created every creature unique, this means that we should recognize the differences within the creation. Sometimes what happens is that we begin to think that we should be colorblind, meaning that we should not see the differences that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created within the creation. And this is a wrong approach, because when we look at the Quran, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the difference in the creation a miracle, right? وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, it is among His signs, meaning among His miracles, that, so many human beings come from who? From Adam and Hawa. That He created you from a single soul, and then so many of you exist. And it is also from His signs that there is, variation. وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. There is variation in your languages and also in your colors. So we shouldn't be colorblind in the sense that we eliminate and we try to erase the differences within people. We should honor these differences. Our problem is that we think that a certain form is more superior to another, right? So we think that, a certain shape of the nose is better than another form or shape. There was once a time when having thin lips was it. It was the best thing ever. And then now, subhanAllah, the standard has changed, right? So the problem with people is that our standards keep changing. And our problem is that we start, saying that, oh, this is better than this and this is better than this. And that is not our place. Our place is to recognize the variation in the creation. And our place is to accept this variation. to honor this variation. And all of this only points to the perfection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not for us to, boast about that, oh, I am better because I am taller. Right? Or I am better because my lips are thicker. Subhanallah. No. This is not a measure by which you become better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has given you this form. You have no say in this. This is all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision. And we see, subhanallah, Allah is the one who is Al Musawwir. Yet in hadith we learn that inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wa amwalikum, that Allah does not look at your appearances, your suwar, right? Meaning your appearance, nor your wealth. Why? Because He is the one who has given it. And He has given this to you in this world. And what is the worth of this world before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is less than that of a mosquito's wing. Subhanallah. So what is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cares about? What is it that He looks at? He looks at إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. He looks at the state of your heart and your actions, your deeds. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Musawwir, He has given us our physical surah, then this is not something to be proud of in the sense that we boast to others over it. No. This is something that should make us work on our internal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He took away that responsibility and that burden from us. Imagine if we had to select our physical appearance, how difficult that would be. Astaghfirullah. And this is only Allah's favor that He has taken that burden away from us. What happens when you have to dress up in order to go somewhere? Some people take an hour, 2 hours to decide what they're going to wear, what makeup they're going to put on, what shoes they're going to wear. They probably change, 3-4 times. We are so indecisive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken this responsibility away from us, right? That we don't get to choose the texture of our hair. We don't get to choose the appearance of our physical body. However, He has given us the responsibility to worry about our intangible surah, right? Which is our actions and the state of our hearts, because that is what truly matters. That is what will outlive this world. Right? وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ. This body that we have is going to decay in the earth. It's going to break down. But our deeds are permanent. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ. Especially good deeds, they will outlive us. So that is what our focus should be on. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Khaliq, Al-Bari Al Musawwir, this means that we should accept the form that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with. Meaning we should accept what Allah chose for us. Right? That if Allah decided that you should be a man or you should be a woman, if He has decided your body for you, then part of being pleased with Allah is to accept the way that Allah has made us. It may be hard. And yes, it is truly hard for certain individuals. They feel very different from their physical body. But this is about accepting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision for you, right? You don't get to choose this. Allah chose this for you. When it comes to your physical appearance, you might think that you're very ugly, right? And yes, a lot of people struggle with their physical appearance, with their body image. But again, this is part of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Al Musawwir, that Ya Allah, You chose this surah for me, I accept it. And you know what? We don't have a say in that, but what we do have a say in, what we do have power over, is our intangible surah. And that is permanent. And this is so beautiful. There is some matters over which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given us control. And then there are other matters over which He has given us control. So let us focus on what He has given us control over. And that is our actions and the state of our heart.